from the School of Hospitality, Travel and Tourism Management, Department of Hospitality Management. Today, I'm going to take you through a unit called BHT1206, Food Production Theory 1. And we are going to go through a topic. But before that, I would wish to do a recap of what we did last semester. Last semester, we were looking at food production theory 1, and we looked at various topics. We looked at food service industry, that is the history of the service industry, where we looked at the history of Escoffier and how he was able to revolutionize the industry or the menu itself. Then we looked at safety, which is very important, sanitation. We also looked at tools and equipments. We looked at both mechanical and manual equipments, hard tools that are usually used in the kitchen. Then we also looked at baking cooking principles. We looked at the methods of cooking, for example, boiling, stewing, paper bag cooking, etc., etc. We also looked at food commodities, various food commodities that we have, especially in our country, things like the meats, the fruits, the vegetables, and etc. We also looked at the art of seasoning and flavoring, which is very important. You know how to season your food, you know how to flavor your food, so that by the time your customer are eating your food, it is delicious food. We also looked at the recipe, which we say that it is important that you have a recipe before you're cooking so that you can be able to balance your menu. Then we also looked at the menu, and we categorized it as table d'hôte and a la carte menu. And we looked at various ways that you can be able to come up with these type of menus. Then we looked at mise en place. Mise en place simply meaning previous preparation that should be done before you start the cooking, the actual cooking. Then finally, we looked at stock, soups, and sauces, whereby we say that the stock is what we usually use to be able as a base for the sauces and the stocks. So this semester, we are going to look at food production theory 2. That is a continuation of food production 1. And we'll be looking at salad dressings and salads. And that will be our topic today, or our lesson for today. We'll have lesson 1 and lesson 2. Then we'll also look at sandwiches, which usually we serve during breakfast or tea, 10 o'clock tea or 4 o'clock tea. We'll also look at the breakfast preparation. We always say that breakfast is the main meal of the day. So it has to be well balanced, and it should be attractive to the customer. Then we look at food presentation and garnish. How are we supposed to present our food, and how do we garnish our food? We'll be looking at that. Then we look at the bake shop production, and here we'll be able to understand which are some of the ingredients that we use when we are baking our products like cakes, like bread, etc. Then we look at the yeast products. There are those products that are made with yeast, and those are the ones, especially bread or bread rolls. We'll be looking at that too. Then we'll also look at quick breads and cookies. Those breads that you cook within the very shortest time possible, and the cookies, we'll also look at that. Then cakes and icing, which is a very interesting topic. We'll be able to look at various types of cakes that we can do, black forest, fruit cake, simple, small cakes, etc. And then the methods of icing. Which are the methods of icing that we have, and how we'll use them. Pies and pastries, very important topic. We'll also be looking at how we prepare our pies and also the pastries, the croissants, the Danish pastries. We'll also look at that. And then finally, for this semester, we'll look at creams, custards, puddings, frozen desserts, and also the sauces. Sweet sauces that we usually use, not the savory sauces, but we look at the sweet sauces that we serve with our desserts, or we serve with our cakes, etc. So we move on, and I want to define the two words, food and also production, so that we are able to understand, especially when we talk about food. What are we talking about? We are looking at a substance with a nutritional value that people eat or drink in order to sustain or give or for growth. Okay? You want to sustain your life, or you want to grow. That is why we eat, and that is why we usually drink. So food is that substance that we usually eat so that we can be able to grow, and also we can be able to live. What is production? Now, production is actually a process. a process of making something that is raw into something that is edible, like a potato. A potato is raw, but when you cook it, that is the production process, so it becomes something that is edible, and that is why we are calling it now the food production. So all the foods that we have in their raw forms, we usually convert them into their edible form so that they can be eaten, and that is what we call food production. Now, our lesson 1, we'll be looking at salad dressings and salads. And I want us to look at the definition of a salad dressing, because I want to look at salad dressing first. We are saying that salad dressing is actually a liquid or a semi-liquid, okay, that is used for flavoring salads. It's a liquid or a semi-liquid that is used for flavoring salad. It usually, sometimes we always consider it as a sauce, because mostly what it does, it moistens our food, it adds richness, and also it adds flavor. That is why sometimes we also refer it to as a cold sauce. Now, we have the categories of salad dressings, and one is oil and vinegar, which is usually unthickened. Now, oil and vinegar, when you mix them, they become unmixable. So what do we do to them? We'll be looking at that. Then we have another category, we call it the mayonnaise based dressing. It is usually very thick and it binds the salads, so the salads do not fall. But it is also an oil and vinegar, but we add an egg so that it becomes an egg is actually a very strong emulsifier. So we usually add the egg. Then we have the cooked dressing, which are more similar to the mayonnaise themselves. You can use them. And we have things like the yogurt. If you use yogurt, it can also be a cooked dressing. And that is what makes it one of the categories. Then I want us to move on to the ingredients that we usually use for making salad dressings. And the first one is oil. Okay? So we have oil, and we have different types of oils or different categories of oils that we have in the market. Like, for example, the first one, we have the corn oil. The corn oil has a flavor of the cornmeal, because you know what a cornmeal is. So it usually have that flavor. And it is also light gold in color, and it is almost tasteless. So it is one of the best, actually, oils for making salads. Then we have the cottonseed oil or the soybean oil, kanori. Kanori is very common today, but very, very expensive. You can buy it from any supermarket that you want. We also have the safflower. And these oils, they are almost tasteless. And mostly we say that we use bland oils for salads so that they do not give any flavor. So avoid using a flavorful oil, because it is going to give a flavor. You can see we have the sunseed flour here. We have the safflower. We also have the golden fly, the erianto, but these are two vegetable oils. Okay, so we also have the vegetable oils, or what we call the salad oils. They are a blend of different types of oils, and they are relatively less expensive, so you can use them, and they have a natural flavor. So this is usually the best. The vegetable oil is the best when you're making the salad dressing. Then we have the peanut oil, which has a distinctive flavor. So you need to be careful about that distinctive flavor, because unless you want to make a salad that has peanut, you don't want other salads to taste the peanut and there is no peanut. Also, you have to be careful, because your customers could be allergic to the peanut. So you also need to be careful about that. It's more expensive, so you can use the vegetable oil, which is less expensive. Then we have the olive oil. Olive oil is very, very important in making salads, but it is very, very expensive. Now, and we have two types of olive oil. We have the extra virgin oil, or we have the virgin oil. And these ones, they mean that they come from the first pressings of the olives. Okay? So they are actually the first harvest, and they have a very distinctive flavor. So it is usually greenish in color. Okay? Then we have the walnut. Which also has a distinctive flavor, and also you can use also from other nuts like the hazelnuts. you can also use that oil. But I've said you have to be very careful with the oils because of their distinctive flavor. But otherwise, the vegetable oil is the best because it has a very natural flavor. The other type of ingredient, we have vinegar. And vinegar come in different forms. Like, for example, the first one, we have the seed vinegar, which is made from apple. So it has that distinctive flavor of the apple. It is usually brown in color. Then we have the white or distilled vinegar, which is distilled and also purified. So basically, it is very natural. It has a natural flavor. Then we have the wine vinegar, which may be white or red vinegar. It can either be white or it can be red vinegar, which comes from the wines, okay, the grapes of the wines. So it has a wine flavor. Then we have flavored vinegars, which have been added another product, like the tarragon, the cinnamon, whatever you want to add, so that it can have that taste. Those are the ones we call the flavored vinegars. Still more on vinegar, we have the sherry, which comes from the sherry wine. So it has that distinctive flavor of the same wine, that is the sherry wine. We have the balsamic vinegar, which is actually a very special type of vinegar. It is usually aged in barrels. The containers that are made from wooden barrels, it is aged from there. So it is actually very dark in color. If you look carefully, you can see it here. It is very dark in color, and it has a very sweet taste. Okay. Then finally, on vinegars, we have other specialities, like we have the rice vinegar, we have the malt. You can also have fruits that are made from the fruits, any other types of fruits. Another type of ingredient that we use when we are making the salad dressing is the lemon juices. You squeeze the lemon juice when it is very, very fresh. So you can use it in additional to the vinegar, which is an acid, because vinegar is also an acid, a lemon is also an acid, or you can use it alone. Or when you want that taste of the lemon, that is when you can use it. So the lemon may be used in place of, or in addition to the vinegar, in some preparations when you need that flavor, or the flavor is usually desired. So lemon is actually a very important ingredient in salad dressing. Then the other one which is important, and this is the egg yolk. Okay, you can see the egg yolk. So we've already removed the egg white. So the egg white is nowhere to be seen because the egg yolk becomes an emulsifier. And when it emulsifies, it binds. And that is why we say that we only use it in mayonnaise. When you're preparing the mayonnaise dressing salad, then you use the eggs. But it is always important to use eggs that has been pasteurized. Pasteurization means that you've taken the eggs through very high temperature, so that you can be able to kill the bacteria that are there, that are present in the eggs. So, and when you prepare this mayonnaise, it's always important that you refrigerate it so that it does not spoil. Okay. Now, another type of ingredient that we use is the seasonings and the flavorings. Now, these ones are important so that your salad can have a taste, or it can have the flavor. And of course, we usually have things like the herbs. We have fresh herbs and spices, and they are usually the best because they have a flavor that is usually produced immediately. But you can also have other dried herbs and spices, but they need more extra time to be able to release their flavor. So you also need to be careful when you're using them. So you can either prepare the dressing early in advance so that this flavor is able to be released. But if you're using the fresh ones, the flavor is usually released as you continue. Then other seasoning, of course, we have things like the salt. You can use the table salt or the sea salt, which is also important as a flavoring or as a seasoning. Then finally, on the ingredients, we have other types of ingredients that you can be able to use. One of them is actually the mustard. You can see the mustard here, the mustard cream. We have ketchup, we have Worcester sauce, and we have the cheese. So these these 4 ingredients, you can use them in addition when you're preparing your salad dressing. Like, for example, the mustard, we usually use it even in oil and vinegar, the vinaigrette sauce, when you are preparing it. Because when you prepare the vinaigrette, basically the oil and the vinegar separates. But if you want it to become stable, then you use the mustard. Okay, because you're not going to use the egg yolk. But when it comes to mayonnaise, we use the egg yolk. So these are additionals that you can be able to use as other ingredients. Then we need to understand what is an emulsion, because an emulsion usually occurs in salads. And we usually say that a uniform mixture of 2 unmixable liquids is called an emulsion. In other words, one liquid is said to be in suspension of the other. Okay? So, and you know that one is usually heavier. Either oil or water is heavier than the other. So one of them will suspend on top. And the water, because it is heavier, it will go to the bottom, and then the oil will suspend on top. And that is why we are saying that either you can have what we call a temporary immersion, or you can have a permanent immersion. Okay? And we'll be able to see what is this temporary immersion and what is this permanent immersion that we are talking about. Because already we said that one liquid is in suspension of the other. And we said that there are 2 unmixable liquids. So the temporary immersion, it's actually a simple oil and vinegar dressing. We call it temporary immersion. Okay? Because the 2 liquids always separate after they are being shaken, or after they are beaten together. So they'll always separate. You'll find that one, because of being heavy, it goes up, the other one goes to the bottom. And that is temporary immersion. And I've said that for you to make it more permanent, you can use other ingredients like the mustard to stabilize it so that it doesn't. But you can also blend it for a longer time so that it stays for a longer time before it separates. Or prepare it towards the time that you're preparing your salad so that it does not separate. Then we have the permanent immersion, and we are saying that this is a mayonnaise. A mayonnaise is also a mixture of oil and vinegar, but the 2 liquids do not separate. Why? Because we are going to use the egg yolk, and that egg yolk becomes an emulsifier. And it is a very strong emulsifier such that the 2 will not be able to break. Okay? So the egg yolks, what usually happens is that the layer around it forms tiny drops, and they hold them into suspension. That is what will usually happen. So you will find that the more you beat the mayonnaise, the more stiff it becomes. Okay? Or the more unbreakable it becomes. So it will not be able to break or to separate. We also have other stabilizers that you can be able to use. Like, for example, you can use gum. These are commercially used. You can also use gums. You can use other starches that basically are also used when you want to stabilize. Because we buy mayonnaises from the supermarket, and those are commercially made. They are made in large quantities. So when you're making them in large quantities, you might not necessarily use the eggs, but you can use the stabilizers that I'm talking about, the gum and the starches and other stabilizers. They are also good for that purpose. Then we have salads. Now we are done with our salad dressings, and you've seen the ingredients that we use. We have oil, we have vinegar, we have lemon juice, we have seasonings and flavorings, and we have other types of, that it is not a must, other types of ingredients. It is not a must that you use them, but they are also good when you can use them. So now let's move on to our salads, so that now we are able to understand what are we talking about. So salads are usually classified either into green salads, vegetable salads, fruit salads, and so on. So depending on the ingredients you're going to use, then you can categorize them either into vegetable salads, green salads, or fruit salads. So if you're using fruits, then that will be a fruit salad. If you're using vegetables, like the lettuce, you're using the tomatoes, you're using the onions, then basically it becomes a green salad. You're using things like avocados, you're using tomatoes again, etc. You will get a vegetable salad. So they will be classified according to the types of vegetables that you use or the fruits. Now, the types of salads that we have. Now, we have at least 7 types of salads. We have the appetizer salad. We have the main course salad. We have the separate course salad. And we have a dessert salad, okay? And also an accompaniment salad. So the first type of salad we have, it is an appetizer. And when we talk of something being an appetizer, this is something that usually stimulates the appetite. It has to stimulate the appetite so that even if this person either is sick or even very hungry, then already their stimuli already goes high. They urge or they want to feel that like they want to eat very, very fast. So appetizer salads are able now to stimulate the appetite, okay? That means you have to use vegetables that are fresh, they have to be crispy, they have to be tangy, okay? And also you have to have a flavorful dressing, like we've already talked about, the dressings that we've already talked about. And also the salad must be attractive, and it must be very good in appearance. Let it have a very good appearance so that the person is able to be stimulated. They should consist of things like poultry, the meat, the fish, plus the vegetables, okay? And they should be attractively arranged on a bed of greens. And you can see the salads here that I'm talking about. They are arranged in beds of greens, okay? We can also have proportioned salads, which should be large enough for filling, okay? They should not be too large, again, because you're going to eat a main meal. This is only an appetizer. So don't serve in large quantities. It should be small quantities, but they should look attractive and also appetizing. So they should also have a combination of ingredients that are very interesting and not dull, or that are trite, okay? You can also use things that like cheese, ham, salamis, and shrimps. Shrimps is a type of fish, crumb meat, and also you should also add crispy vegetables. Crispy vegetables, we have things like cereals, so you can also use them. Then the other type of salad, we have the accompaniment salad. And these salads, they are always accompany the main meal. So you have a main meal, like you have chicken, then you have maybe your French fries, and then you can have now, instead of having cooked vegetables, now you can have a vegetable salad. So this salad should not be heavy. It should be light. So avoid it having things like the macaronis. Avoid for it having things like heavy cheeses and all that, or the seafoods. It should be very light. So it should contain mostly the vegetables, because the vegetables are the ones that we really want more. Again, it should be able to harmonize with the rest of the meal, the rest of the food or the dishes that you've already put there, okay? So it is not a must for it to be balanced, because we are not going to have it alone. It already has the balancing of the protein, the starch, and now the vegetables. The other type of salad is the main course salad. And the main course salad means that this person, and today people have become very conscious of what they eat on a daily basis. So what they are doing is that they are eating a salad maybe during lunchtime or dinner time, and they avoid the other main meal. But when you're having a main course salad, it should be a balanced diet. It should have the proteins, which are actually the meats. You can have poultry, you can have seafood, or you can have even eggs, okay? You can also have the eggs, and also you can have the cheeses. So the main course salads, they should offer an enough variety, form of balanced diet. So make sure that even the flavor, the texture, the nutritional value, and even the vegetables are all balanced, okay, or even the fruits. You need to use a lot of imagination and creativity when you are making a main course salad, because generally there is no other meal that this person is going to eat. So they need to feel appetized by, or they need to feel appetized by what they are seeing on the plate. And it should be served in not in small quantities, but you should serve enough for the guests to be able to eat. Then the other type of salad is what we call a separate course salad. This is basically a refreshing type of salad. It is usually light, and it comes as a break between the main meal and the dessert. Okay, so it should be very light. So the purpose of this is for it to cleanse the palate after having a very big dinner or a very rich dinner, and also it prepares you now to have your dessert. And you can see it is here, it is very light. Okay, so it is not something that is heavy. Then finally, the types of salads, we have the dessert salads. And these dessert salads are usually sweet, and they may contain items such as fruits, sweetened gelatin, nuts, and creams. You can see our salads here, they have the fruits. Okay. Others have also been topped with things like ice creams. The nuts are here, you can see them. Okay. And also the fruits, all types of fruits. Okay. They are often sweet because they are served as, they are very sweet. So most of the time you can serve them as appetizers or accompaniments. And they are best served as desserts. So you serve them best as desserts. So do not serve them as appetizers or as accompaniments, because their purpose is basically to cleanse the palate. You've already eaten a rich meal, so you want to cleanse that palate completely. You might not eat a separate course salad, but you might go direct to the dessert salad. So it will depend with what the person wants or the customer wants. So that is the end of lesson 1. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you in the next lesson.
These televised lectures supplement our robust online learning going on our MKU online platform. You can view more on our televised lectures via our online platform. We are in a digital era, and Mount Kenya University knows this. The following are the steps to follow so as to complete your online application. Download the application form from the website www.mku.ac.ke. Attach copies of your academic certificates and ID. Pay the application fees via M-Pesa pay bill number 270988. Your ID is the account number. 2,000 shillings is the charge for a postgraduate. You can also deposit in the bank accounts provided on the website. Then email all the above to apply@mku.ac.ke.